Hi, and welcome back to the course. So let's get Python and OpenCV installed. Now this guide applies to the Windows installation only. If you're using a Mac or Linux, please see the guides for those operating systems separately. So let's look at step 1 and download and install the Anaconda Python package. Now the Anaconda package comes bundled with several key Python libraries that are primarily used in data science. However, we will be using some of them in this course as well. So that's why I encourage you to download Anaconda. It's quite convenient because of the bundle of packages it comes with. So let's go to Continuum site, that's continuum.io/downloads. And this is the site here, and you scroll down and you can see you can choose between either Python 3.5 and 2.7. And you're free to install either Python 3.5 or 2.7. I tend to use 2.7 more often, and that's mainly because I use some libraries not specific to this OpenCV course, that's on my personal use, that are only compatible with 2.7. However, if you are new to Python, I'd recommend you go with Python 3.5 because that's what's going to be supported moving forward. So also Continuum site should have automatically detected whether you're using a 64-bit or 32-bit system. Most of you guys should be using 64-bit systems by now, because most computers within the last 3 to 5 years are 64-bit CPUs. So let's just go ahead and click this download button here. The download automatically starts, and if you do want to get Anaconda's cheat sheet, you can give your email here. It's not recommended though. And there we go. So within a few minutes, this 391 meg Anaconda 4.2, which is the current version as of October 2016, is downloading. So once your exe Anaconda file is finished downloading, all you need to do is double click on that file and follow the installation instructions on screen, and that's it. You would have completed the Python installation using the Anaconda package. So now that Python and Anaconda have been installed, let's now try to launch an IPython or Jupyter notebook. And to do so, we actually use Windows command prompt or PowerShell to launch it. So let's get to it. Alright, so let's bring up a command prompt window. So in case you don't know how, you can just search for it here in Windows 10. It should be a similar method for previous versions of Windows. So here it is. And let's bring it in view here. So to launch an IPython notebook, you can type this command, Jupyter notebook. And press enter key, and that should bring up Jupyter notebook. Yes, it does, right here. So our files are stored at master OpenCV directory, and these are all the files here, all the code files that we'll be using in this course. So now when we're ready to launch these code items, you just come back here and you just click any one you want to, and that brings up the code that we'll be using during the course. And when you launch this code, you'll see I sometimes leave notes in between code items, like in this example here. And these are the blocks of codes here, the ones with the grayish backgrounds. So to run these blocks of code, you actually press Control and Enter together. And there we go. This ran on my system here. This was a translation of an image of the Louvre in Paris. However, this will probably crash on your system unless you've got OpenCV installed, because that's what this line does, import OpenCV. So now let's get to actually installing OpenCV so we can use and implement this code. So now let's move on to downloading and installing OpenCV. So let's go to this website here, that's opencv.org/downloads.html, and we'll bring it up here. And as you can see, there are two main versions of OpenCV we can choose between. There's 2.413 and 3.1. Now I use 2.413 for the majority of this course, and that's because there actually are some important packages or functions that are part of 2.413 but are no longer part of 3.1 due to some patents. However, you're free to install either, and I'll try to show you the differences throughout the course. So sometimes if a block of code isn't compatible with either version, I'll tell you and maybe tell you how to fix it so that it actually becomes compatible. There are unfortunately some things that you can't do in 2.413 and vice versa with 3.1. So let's just go ahead and click that installation button, and that brings up our SourceForge site here that hosts the OpenCV library files. So once that file is completely downloaded, you can basically double click on that exe file And that file is basically an extraction tool. It basically prompts you to enter a folder you wish to extract the files to. So you can place the files on your C drive in a directory called OpenCV, that's fine. And I'll show you what to do next. Alright, so let's move on to step 3, which is actually pretty easy. We just need to find our cv2.py file. So let's bring up the directory you installed our OpenCV or your OpenCV in. So mine is stored in OpenCV-2.413. So double click on OpenCV, then build, then Python, then 2.7, then depending on the system you have, whether it's x86 32-bit or 64-bit, click this one and here we go. This is our cv2.py file. So what we're going to do now is go to step 4, which is copying that cv2.py file into the site packages directory of our Anaconda install. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, so this is where our Anaconda is installed. I've got 2 versions of Anaconda installed, so mine is labeled Anaconda 2, but yours should just be Anaconda alone. So now let's go to the lib directory here, and then let's scroll down to the site packages directory here. And you can see a bunch of packages and libraries here. This is what comes bundled with Anaconda, so it's a lot. And then let's go and find our cv2 file. Now I've already pasted my cv2 file here. On your system this should not be here. So what you would need to do is go back to this directory here, copy the file, which you can't see because it's out of the window here, but I've just copied that file and pasted it into here. Yep. So that's fine. Well, it's in use in my system right now, so I can't actually copy it here. But just copy that file to this directory here. And you may have noticed I have cv2 in brackets 3 here. What is that exactly? Well, in Windows you can very easily switch between OpenCV 3.1 and 2.413. So I've downloaded the same OpenCV 3.1 in a separate directory, and what I did is just copy the cv2 file from that OpenCV directory and placed it here. So now whenever I need to switch between these versions of OpenCV, I can just label this one 2 and then label this one, just remove the tree from it, and that's what's going to be used in my system. So whenever I refresh my IPython notebooks, and I'll show you how to do that shortly, I will be using OpenCV 3.1, which is pretty cool. Okay, great. So that's all there is to installing Python and OpenCV. However, if for some reason you already had Python installed but you weren't sure where your Python exe file was created or was located, you can just go to an IPython notebook here, and this is a good tutorial to do. So let's just bring this a little smaller in here. So let's just launch a new Python notebook. So let's go to Python 2 here. If it's Python 3 in your system that's available, then that's fine as well. And let's just copy these 2 lines of code. Import sys and sys executable. And let's just print that here. And what this does, it actually tells us where the Python exe that's being used in our Python notebooks, where it's located. So those files, the lib and site packages, will be in the subdirectories of that main folder. Okay, so that's pretty much it to installing OpenCV and Python. So if you're using a Mac or Linux system, I've placed the instructions for installing Python and OpenCV on the course page itself, so you can take a look at those now, guys.